I also noticed there I didn't see any room on the left for the canine to come in.
You don't like the fact that there's not a lot of space here.
Right.
Yeah, and you need space here for the rotation of the lateral. Also, where is the space on the left side? Now, I know Joe didn't put the space on the left side because he was trying to match up the midlines with the facial midline. Let's see if we want to move. What do you think?
Midline. And I knew there was a lot of space, between the second deciduous and the permanent molar. So I would have liked a little bit more there, but I really didn't know how to get it without not distalizing the second primary molar.
See what I did, Candy?
Yeah.
I scared Joe into not moving the E.
Yeah.
I scared him because I've been screaming for like a couple of weeks now about don't move the E. So Joe didn't want to move the E, which I actually respect. He did that in order to increase arch length, but in so doing, he lost some of the room for the canine. So let me ask you, how do you think that's going to play out? Let me play two scenarios for you, Dr. Candy, because this is a really important question. Let's look at the pan, actually, right? Arch length has been created here, okay? Which teeth are going to exfoliate first, and what's going to happen with the canine once the arch length has been created? So
it's a tie.
It kind of looks like a tie, right?
Yeah.
I still want some room around that canine somewhere.
So why not lap the 6 and distalize the D and E?
Just gotta sneak some space somewhere in between there.
You guys hear what George said? This guy's a genius. Let me show you what he said. Check this out. It's not like the ideal, but I agree with Candy and with George. Let me rephrase it. Yeah. No, I understand that, Joe. You did it. I'll take the L on this one. But here's the point, just to make sure. I would have been right, Joe, if the canine were like so many canines are, way behind the premolars in eruption. So I want you just to understand that conceptually, because were that to be the case, then all you really care about is the space over here, because then the E's and D's will exfoliate first. The premolars will erupt more distally. And so essentially, even though you're not making the room in the canine's area itself, so to speak, you are getting some arch development there, so that helps. And that canine's coming in last. So by making room back here, you are in effect making room for the canine. But that's only if the canine's coming after the premolars. But in this scenario, where, as George said, it's kind of a tie, you're going to do the second best thing in terms of anchorage. You're going to make sure, George is recommending to freeze this. Okay, so let's get to that, right? He wants to freeze this. And then he wants to move just the E. Is that what you said?
The D and the E.
Right. So he wants to freeze this.
Yep.
And then he wants to freeze both sides and move this, like split the difference.
Perfect.
The advantage of this is that if you do it in the correct sequence, the molar will move. So this is going to take a little longer, but it should be worth it. The molar will move. Okay. And once the molar moves, you do get the wedge effect that we talk about all the time between the primary canine and the D. So this will be relatively efficient. This is not going to be so bad. And because the molar is already moved, it's not going to start burning anchorage and bringing the molar mesially. First of all, because the molar is an adult molar, and that's why we love it so much. And secondly, because the main movement is going to be the wedge between the canine and the D, pushing it distal. We're not really touching the molar. We're just stabilizing it there where it is. And you have the wedge on the, between the E and the molar, kind of keeping the molar back. So it's kind of a brilliant idea, and it does open up more for the canine. And in light of the fact that they're a tie,
and you don't mess with the midline.
And you don't mess with the midline. Obviously, right. The answer was never going to be to bring the anteriors forward and to mess with the midline. Joe knew that, right? Because he came in with the chief complaint of prioritizing that midline coincidence and the aesthetics in the anterior. So he wasn't going to mess with the anterior. And again, taking a step back, I'm just proud of us that, and I'm happy for this patient, right? That he has a doctor that cares so much that he's controlling mechanics so exquisitely in this area in order to preserve his aesthetics and his function and the eruption of the teeth and his occlusal balance. This is right now gorgeous. Does anybody have a question about this?
I like it. The space there to the canine, and I think that will be helpful.
Yeah, that'll be helpful for the eruption of the canine. I mean, wow. Brilliant, guys. Next time I present this, you get, I go to a place like Buffalo where Dr. Patel is, and I make believe this is my idea. See how this works? This is how we learn from each other.